I'm Dr. Drain, and our next presenter is Lee Cage Jr. He's a technology strategist and veteran whose career spans nearly 2 decades across the military, corporate, and nonprofit sectors. As Director of Technology and Transformation at BDO USA, he leads initiatives helping clients reimagine workflows and adopt data-driven solutions. Let's give it up for Lee Cage Jr.
So listen, guys, this is a view, an actual view of how my brain is wired, if you will. So in most cases, people tell you, don't judge me. I'm inviting you to do just that. Judge me, do it silently like the rest of America, and we'll be fine, okay? That being said, I want to ask you an important question. Are you a spare tire? Now, I know that may not feel sexy. It may not feel good. It may not be the thing that you were hoping to hear tonight, but it is an important question because spare tires are underrated. They get a bad rep. They sit in the trunk. They're unseen. They don't get shined when you clean and wash the car, but they do serve a purpose. They get no spotlight. They get no glory. Nobody is saying, hey, happy spare tire day. But they do serve a critical purpose, do they not? They carry the weight of the organization. They carry the weight of point A to point B. When the road meets the rubber, when the road you're traveling seems all uphill, you need those spare tires, especially if you're driving in Nashville, potholes, right? And so what's so critical about the spare tire is it doesn't get all of the recognition, but it is the underdog, if you will. It is standing in the hallways, it's standing in those staff rooms, it's in those employee relation conversations, it's helping to push transformation and technology one step at a time. It is the spare tire. And 63% of CEOs, they underrate this, right? They don't understand the people, the teams, the entire departments that are pushing the organization forward, but yet we don't fully understand that either. 63% of CEOs say that HR is just a administration function. Now, the thing about spare tires is they too were built for pressure. Spare tires were built for pressure. They can handle the weight of transformation, mergers and acquisitions. They too can acknowledge they are the things that nobody notices until the organization can't move forward without them. HR kind of serves, if you will, almost like an extension of the legal department. We know policies, regulations. We understand the inflows and outflows of the organization. When we are faced with all types of warning signs, your culture is almost eroding, when there are disruptions from leadership bolts, and when the air begins to go out of those primary tires, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. Who stands up? It's the spare tire. Now, you don't judge a spare tire by how often you see it. You judge it by, does it do the thing it was designed to do when you need it the most? Does it show up? Is it aired up? Is it prepared to stand and defend? Oh, sorry, that was my Army thing, the Constitution of the United States. So you have to ask yourself, am I the who? Am I the who that brings in the artillery, that removes roadblocks within the organization? And am I the who that can move us forward? Can I be comfortable not being so far present? And here's the opportunity. For so long, we have fought to be seen and to have a seat at the table. But maybe if we reframed our role, if we maybe even changed our mindset, we would see that power has nothing to do with being seen. Power has everything to do with being ready. Those are two different things. One lives in darkness and only shows up in their life. The other one is always the light. Now, here we go. Here's the important part. What if our value has nothing to do with how constantly we are in motion? Sometimes in HR and HR technology and HR transformation, we think that we have to always be moving, that if we're not doing 1,000 things, we have no value, bringing nothing to the organization. But I would dare you to think about this as a sustainment brigade. Now, that would focus on your resilience, your capacity, and your relentless ability to be prepared, to understand the doctrine, the rules, the regulations of the road, because after all, you are driving on it. In many cases, HR is not a revenue cost-driven organization, right? And so maybe then we have to think about that role defined or redefined, right? Maybe we have to embrace disruption and remember that we are actually a part of the system. We don't need to be the driver. We don't need to be operations. We don't need to be everything else. We are still a part of the system, even if we're not always front and seen. We are just as much as a value. And so you have a big decision. What will you focus on when you're not in use? That's the important thing. It's not about being constantly emotional. It's what do I do when I'm not in use? What value do I bring to the organization? How am I helping them remember that I am indispensable even when I am invisible? Because after all, those cool things sit in the trunk. Okay? Well, you all will get that later. So with that being said, I'd like to invite you to rethink about the question that I asked you just 4 minutes and 45 seconds ago. Are you the spare tire? Because if you are, I invite you to pull up a seat or stand up and have a conversation with me. That is so important that you realize just if you don't see it, you still have value. Thank y'all.